October 1996. Nashik, the afternoon sun scorched Nashik, painting the streets in hues of gold and fire. Inside her modest home, Prateepa wiped the sweat off her brow, exhaustion pressing against her bones after a long morning of chores. The world outside was buzzing with life, but within her four walls there was only silence until the landline phone shattered the stillness. A shrill ring, a jolt of unease coiled in her stomach. Calls at this hour were rare. With hesitant fingers, she picked up, "Hello?" The voice on the other end belonged to her daughter's schoolteacher, but there was something unsettling about her tone, urgent, shaky, almost afraid. "Prateepa, are you okay?" the teacher asked, her voice taut with concern. Confusion gripped her. "Yes." "Why? What happened? Is Kranti all right?" Then came the words that turned her world to ice. 3 women had arrived at the school earlier, claiming Prateepa was gravely ill and needed her daughter home immediately. They were persuasive. They were desperate. And when their insistence met suspicion, a single bribe, a crisp 100 note, was all it took to dissolve the last barrier standing between them and Kranti. The watchman caved. By the time the truth surfaced, the strangers were gone. And so was her daughter. Prateepa's body moved before her mind could catch up. She ran, breathless, heart slamming against her ribs, each step heavier than the last. But when she reached the school, all she found was the ghost of what had been a classroom missing its brightest light, a teacher with guilt-laden eyes, a silent void where her child should have been. Kranti had vanished. Days bled into sleepless nights. Posters were plastered, police were called, prayers whispered into the void. But hope faded with each passing moment, like sand slipping through her fingers. Until one fateful evening, amidst the bustling chaos of a crowded market, Prateepa saw her. One of them, a woman with a familiar face, moving carelessly through the crowd, unaware of the firestorm brewing behind her. Prateepa's feet moved before her mind could process. She lunged, grabbing the woman's arm in a grip fueled by desperation and fury. "Where is my child?" Her voice cracked, raw and splintered with agony. The woman turned, and instead of panic, there was something else, a slow, cruel smirk curling at her lips. Gone. Forever. The words sliced through Prateepa like a blade. "This is what you deserve." And then the nightmare unraveled. The kidnappers weren't strangers at all. They were ghosts of a past she had long buried, Anjana and her 2 daughters, Seema and Renuka. Years ago, Anjana's husband, Mohan, had left her, abandoning his first family to build a new life with Prateepa. A betrayal that festered and curdled in Anjana's heart, morphing into something monstrous. She didn't want justice. She didn't want forgiveness. She wanted suffering. Kranti had been the price. They had lured the little girl away, weaving soft lies of a fun outing, of laughter and games. But their path had led her to an isolated sugarcane field, a place where no screams could be heard, no prayers answered. There they had crushed her tiny throat, silencing her forever. And as the earth swallowed her innocence, Anjana smiled, finally feeling the weight of her own loss lift. When the police arrived, dragging them from the shadows into the burning light of justice, the daughters turned on their own mother, their shrieks piercing the courtroom walls. "She made us do it." But as the gavel struck and the dust settled, a question lingered like an echo in a hollow room. Who was truly guilty? The broken mother who poisoned their minds with vengeance, or the daughters who let their hands become the weapons of her wrath? And in the end, did it even matter? For Prateepa, one truth remained: Kranti was gone, and no amount of justice could ever bring her back.